Yeah.
Oh, we're not done yet?
We're not
what?
done yet.
What?
All right, welcome to Talking Shop. We are still slowly getting the place together. Glad you're here with us again. We're looking at Luke chapter 24, 1 through 12. This is the reading for Easter Day. If you're doing the sunrise service, it's traditionally, I think, the John reading. But this is the main reading for Easter Day. And we'll go through the text. We're going to talk about kind of the nuances of it. And one of the things we'll be sure to talk about towards the end is things we think kind of you should focus on overall on an Easter Sunday. It's a big time to celebrate. You got a lot of people coming to church that might not have been there for a while. And so these are opportunities we don't want to ever squander or, misuse those opportunities. Probably a better way to say it. So we're glad you're with us. Take a moment to like and subscribe, and we will get after it.
Spit out my Lord in every way, yet I'm still welcome in the arms.
Okay, Luke chapter 24, 1 through 12, the resurrection of our Lord. Beginning is not shocking this time, but on the first day of the week, at early dawn, or as we were translating it, it was deep dawn, and like dawn. Real early dawn. The light's just beginning to come up, I guess, in the morning.
When the dawn was deep.
They went to the tomb, taking with them spices prepared. So,
morning
this
people.
Text, everyone's heard it a million times, but this is well, let's go through some of the basic stuff. What is the first day of the week?
It's the Lord's Day,
Sunday.
Sunday,
yes.
Right? And Sunday began
the week.
when?
It begins at sundown.
Sundown Saturday, well, we would say Saturday evening.
Yeah, begins when 3 stars are visible in the sky.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have you here, Matt.
It's very, very precise.
Yeah,
Could one be
very
Venus?
precise.
That's good.
I don't know if they counted Venus as a star or not. I don't
Yeah.
think so. Isn't Venus the morning star anyway?
There you go. That's
So,
fine.
I know my astronomy.
So it is this early morning idea. We talk about this with Easter a lot, that when they get there early, he's already gone, basically. Yeah. The tomb is empty. Because this is the third day. It's been the third day since sundown on Saturday.
Yeah, the other thing about it is, and again, this is, I hope you don't start preaching on stuff like this.
Don't do that.
Yeah, it's an inclusive. So, right, he goes into the tomb before sundown on Friday, so that's one day.
Yeah.
In the tomb all day Saturday, that's 2 days. So then as soon as sundown is over, that then would be 3 days.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, don't preach that. But
you're welcome.
But those are your days. Those are your days. So yeah, so the first day of the week would be Sunday. That's where they go. They go to the tomb, taking the spices. So they go to take care of the body because, going back to the days, I guess, he dies on Friday.
Yeah.
And the Sabbath starts then at sundown on Friday.
Right.
So they can't do the things that are necessary once the sun sets.
They didn't have time before.
So they hurry up, they get him in the tomb. Yeah. We know they wrap him in the cloth, but they don't do all the other stuff that they would normally traditionally do, right?
Right.
So it's a rush job. They kind of hurry up and get him in there. They can't do anything, obviously, on the Sabbath.
Yeah.
So now they come early in the morning, as early as they really can, to do anything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, light-wise and everything, so.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, I guess we should say this in this text. Who are they? I mean, we get it later.
Oh, yeah, that's true. This doesn't say the women went to the tomb like you get in Mark. Yeah. You only find that out down at verse 10.
Yeah.
Mary Magdalene, Joanna, Mary the mother of James, and the other women.
Yeah.
The remnant.
Some others.
And others.
Yeah. And so they get there. They find the stones rolled away already. And they look inside. They don't find the body of. And you found this interesting when we were translating it, right? That it's like very precise language. with in verse 3, right? But when they went in, they did not find the corpse, the body.
Yeah. Of the Lord Jesus. Yeah, and I was looking,
very clear.
I looked that up. That is the first time that those two words are put together in all of the Gospels.
Really?
They appear again in Acts. But that is the first time that it is the Lord Jesus.
And
that Lord becomes a title for Jesus.
You could do a lot with that, because not only is it, like you said, the title of it, but it's also, they're expecting their Lord dead.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is, that's a big blow as well to how these things turn out, right?
Yeah.
They go there, they look for the body, it's not there. They're perplexed, makes sense. And what happens?
There's some guys showing off their laundry. Two men stood in dazzling apparel. I like that.
And this again is, I wouldn't focus on this if you're preaching this on Easter morning. Like, this is very different than, say, Mark's gospel, where it's like the one guy sitting on the on the stone, right?
Yeah.
You get different accountings of this. This is Luke telling his story his way.
Yeah.
And there's always some angelic being that's kind of there informing them of what's actually
whether
happening.
one talks or two talk.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't even have John running to the tomb in this version, in Luke's version also.
Right.
But
and beating Peter.
Yeah. I was a little faster.
That was the one thing I was going to say. Even you don't have who it is that's going to the tomb. Yeah. Now, granted, you do have. We don't read it as part of it, but it does talk about at the end of Luke 24 the women preparing spices.
Yeah.
So if you were going to follow that, you would definitely have it. You don't have them having the conversation. Who will roll the stone away for us? Right. You have two instead of one, which. If you were gonna focus on it, the only thing that I would say is on the testimony of two or three.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, so here you've got this witness, and you could almost do that witness now continues as we go out in our twos and threes and declare this new reality. So so what I would say is if you're gonna focus on and I did this with my vicarage supervisor, but if you're gonna focus on a text, focus on that text.
Yeah.
And so Lord Jesus only appears in Luke.
Yeah.
Right? That's a big deal.
Highlight.
He's got two witnesses at the tomb, right? That's kind of a highlight. Yeah. You got Peter running to the tomb and then going to himself, which we'll get to.
Right, yeah.
So there's things that you could focus on within that text, and that's where I would say to go.
Yeah, and so there they are. They're shining. They're dazzling, lightning, however you're translating that text. And they're frightened, which is the correct response always when you see an angel, is, you're terrified. Because these are not precious moments, little cute things. They are terrifying beings, right? So they put their faces to the ground, and the question is...
It's awesome.
It's awesome. This is like the joy of Easter morning, right? Yeah. What do they say?
Why do you seek the living among the dead?
Yeah.
He's not here.
You came looking for the right guy, Lord Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wrong place.
Wrong place.
Right.
Yeah. He's not here. He has been raised. I think that's, you could do he is risen, right? But that's also the passive, and I think you get it both ways in the scriptures. Mm-hmm. And so this is, if you're going to focus on the has been raised, this is the vindication by the Father.
Yeah, right? that the Father has... You can bring that in. The Father has accepted the sacrifice and now has raised his Son. Like he's the one that is being justified in that regard.
Right.
Like that his law is just. His Son has met that requirement on our behalf. All that kind of stuff you can kind of pull out of there.
Yep.
He has been raised. That might be a fun way to kind of a tagline to pull in actually. Yeah. He has
been raised. You have been raised.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
he has been raised, and then he basically says, "What? Remember, he told you."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This is kind of a classic. Like he said this would happen.
Yeah. And then they even repeat it again. I think this is where the messenger comes in. Right. They're simply repeating what what the Lord Jesus has already said, right? And so in essence, we repeat what the Lord Jesus has already said,
right?
Yeah, that's
right.
good.
That's all we do.
That. Yeah.
We are simply the messengers that continue that statement. So, but you got to listen to him in order to.
That's
know
right.
That
That's right.
So.
His word reigns, which it's a major theme throughout the Gospels is to listen to.
And
this
to
one.
their credit, and you got to give points to Luke here too, because he names the women. We know historically women were not considered legitimate witnesses in the day, culturally speaking.
Sure.
And
so this would be kind of taboo, is what you're saying.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It also lends authenticity to the account.
Right.
Because if you were making this up, first of all, you'd want to collude with the other versions we were talking about, John's or Mark's or Matthew's version.
Smooth them out.
Yeah. And they don't take any, Luke doesn't take any effort to do that. But he also puts these women into the story here by name, who are the first eyewitnesses whose testimony would not even count in the legal matters of the day.
Yeah. And he even says that they apangeloed these. They angeled them to the other. So they go to the tomb. They meet, doesn't say angels, but they meet these two men who angel to them, who message to them.
Right.
Yeah.
Then they become messengers that then go on and message to the others. So again, I think that's why I was thinking about the witnesses and all of that, that there's a theme here that Luke pulls down in where to pull in John's gospel, you are witnesses of these things.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I think that's John.
Luke starts with lowly shepherds.
Isn't it?
And here it includes women. And so there's this, of course, the whole theme in Luke is this inclusive with the Gentiles thing.
Sure.
But you got shepherds, you got women, you got Gentiles.
Right.
Included in all this, Lord Jesus Christ.
Yeah, messaging that. Yeah, that's
and
true.
So now, to your point though, Mike, their words aren't received well at first.
Yeah.
Right. Later they on, and actually, when you go beyond this, you get to the road to Emmaus.
Mm-hmm.
They're even talking about, well, the women had said this, but we weren't really sure about it. Right.
Idle talk.
But here it says it was this idle tale. But they didn't believe them. Right.
Right.
But that's not entirely true. I mean, it says that like they're not all like, oh, hey, this is good enough.
Right.
It causes one guy to get up.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Right.
That's
sure.
And Peter, this kind of dominant figure for sure, gets up, and at their really, I mean, that's at what they messaged to him, at what they spoke to him, and runs in, and he sees it all there. Do you ever make anything in preaching this text about the linen cloths set off by themselves? It's always an interesting line.
Yeah, I think, isn't it Mark? Yeah, I think it's Mark that talks about them being folded at the end of the table, right?
Yeah.
And I've heard some sermons make a big deal about that, about this is not a disheveled scene.
Right.
This is very planned. This is very organized.
Deliberate.
This is very deliberate.
Yeah.
So Luke doesn't necessarily do that. But there's almost another sermon that you could do of Peter. Peter hearing this, even though it sounds ridiculous.
Right, yeah.
Goes and checks it out for himself.
Right.
Decides that he's going to do the work and continue to see how the story plays out.
And I do think there's something, like I was thinking to the resurrection of Lazarus.
I was thinking of that too.
Where he comes out with all, and they're taking all this
Unwrapping
stuff off him,
him,
right? They're unwrapping him. And here it's like, no, all the things of death are left behind.
Yeah,
in the
that's
tomb.
good. I like that.
And you could, now that's something maybe you could do.
Yeah.
You could say, and the things of death are also your sin, your transgression.
Sure.
They're left behind in the tomb too.
Go a little farther. The shroud of death.
Yeah.
Right?
The
covering of death.
I like that.
And there you could go, isn't it the covering that is over all men is swallowed up forever, right? That's Isaiah 25.
Yes, Isaiah,
right? Death is swallowed up.
Right.
Yeah. So
those are, man, that's some good stuff there. From a linen cloth.
From a linen cloth.
But I think overall, you're thinking of preaching, it's Easter. These are the things you got to hit on.
Yeah.
Shred of evidence. There you
go. There you go.
You know, I know we've talked about this before with Christmas. Like, this is not the time to highlight that you haven't seen these people since Christmas.
Yeah, right.
No.
This is a time to rejoice that they're here.
Yeah.
to hear this good news
and to message it to them, because you're just a continuation of that message.
Yeah, you stand in this lineage to
As
proclaim the
verse
resurrection of
8
Christ.
says, they remembered his words. That's what we're doing.
Yeah,
we're remembering. We're opening his word together. We're
Yeah.
remembering what he said, that he is risen. He will arise.
Yep.
He has, and we remember that.
Yeah, and I think so. Like I was thinking about this the other day, thinking through what Holy Week's going to hold and all these services, and I try to kind of pencil out some ideas of what do I want to kind of focus on each one. I was thinking about Easter, in that I think like really just settling in. I know it sounds kind of simple because it's what Easter's about, but really just settling in on what does it mean to you, to the person sitting there on that Sunday morning, that Jesus is alive?
Yeah.
Like that simple thing that he's not here.
Yeah.
Right.
He's or as we say, like, the traditional Easter greeting, right? Christ is risen. Well,
Risen
okay, well,
indeed.
what does that mean?
Yeah. So?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, so kind of mine that out. And I think you could do that with that sort of, all the things of death are left, the shroud of death.
Right.
It's all left behind in the tomb. And he is risen.
Yeah.
And if you're with that guy,
Right.
well, then you get all that victory too. Like you're on his team.
Yeah.
Right.
And it means he is the Lord Jesus
Yes,
Christ.
the Lord Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the significance.
Yeah.
That's great.
All right. Great. Man, it's a big Sunday to preach, and we know you got a lot of work ahead of you. We hope we can be of help here. Like, subscribe if you haven't yet, and share any comments of what you're going to be doing this week, and what you might be focusing on if you're using this text. And God bless your preaching.